I'm about to tell you is the God's honest truth without embellishment or anything even approaching it. Last year, how or why, I do not know, but someone who was in the Christmas tree business came in and decorated the studio. It was a nice touch. It was a nice gesture. And after an appropriate amount of time after the holiday, they came and took the decorations and went home. We, in turn, mentioned it a number of times, saying, wow, Schmuckenmacher Christmas tree service, I really did a great job decorating the studio. Well, there is a problem. Schmuckenmacher, or whoever it was, has not offered to do it again this year. And earlier this evening, bursting into the studio, short of breath, so excited she didn't even ask for a cigarette. The program directoress came in and said, do you remember who decorated the studio last year? And I said, no, somebody named Schmuckenmacher or something like that. I have no idea. No idea at all. Think Flounder would know? I have no idea. And so off she went and apparently asked Flounder if he remembered who decorated the studio last year, and apparently he did not. A few minutes later, she is back in the studio. And she is saying, are you going to do a light show or a heavy show tonight? And this is like about 5 minutes to 5, and I answered her truthfully, and I said, I don't know yet, because I hadn't decided yet what I was going to do. And so she said, well, if you could, if you don't mind, let me stop the story at that point and bring you up to speed. This is J-Corps Broadcasting. WFLA is owned by J-Corps Broadcasting. The principal stock owner is a man named Sam Zell. Sam Zell just sold his interest, as a matter of fact, everyone's interest in J-Corps Broadcasting to Clear Channel. Clear Channel is a corporation not owned by poor people. That's how they were able to pay over $2 billion. That's with a B. $2 billion plus assume another $2+ billion in debt. Keep that in mind. That's who owns this radio station. Now let us return to the second visit of the evening from the program directoress, who said, well, if you don't mind, would you ask if anybody wants to donate a Christmas tree and decorations for the studio this year, It was so nice last year. It would really be nice if somebody would give us a Christmas tree. Maybe some holly and some poinsettias and a snowman and maybe a Santa Claus and some reindeer or something, Boy, that would really be... If you don't mind asking the audience to donate Christmas decorations. Because we can't remember who did it last year. We called them up and asked them to do it. And you can tell them that we're not going to pay for it or anything like that. We'll say we like it even if we don't. We'll say how pretty it is, even if it isn't. Like we did last year. So. The person that donated the Christmas decorations last year hasn't called yet, so we're not looking too good here. And boy, the studio... We only have one Christmas card hanging up there, and the studio isn't looking very Christmassy. So maybe you would like to donate Christmas decorations for the WFLA studio, and if you did, we'd say how pretty they were and how much we enjoyed them, even if they're not pretty and we don't enjoy them. You could call the business office between 9 and 5 and donate Christmas decorations. Now, you surely wouldn't expect Sam to, take $50 out of that $2 billion he just got and provide us with a tree or something now, would you? The things I do for this radio station. 990-WFL. That's not the Christmas tree donation number, by the way. I have no idea. Do you have any idea what the office number is here?
That would be...
it's really embarrassing, like when I'm trying to buy a car or something and they ask for my business phone. I have no idea.
The front desk would be 839-9393, and they will transfer you to the
Christmas department.
The Christmas decorating department.
Yeah, I think actually what we're hoping to do is get about 8 or 9 of them so that we sell the others.
Oh. Now, there's a thought.
Do any of the other studios have Christmas trees in them yet?
I think they do, yeah.
And that's what Trekus is feeling bad about, is that the other studios have...
I saw Needles in the hallway yesterday.
is Needles back in town? God, he's got good dope.
Heading to the sister station over there, 93th Fleas.
How about the sports geek DOA?
Nope, not yet.
Because, see, that's what started it last year. Somebody donated a Christmas tree there, and then we got all bent out of shape about it.
No, they don't have one in there yet. I was down there last night. And I don't know about the other so-called sister station, you know.
Let's go to Scott on a cell phone. Scott, you're on the air 970 WFLA.
Bobby.
Yes, Scott.
How you doing, my friend?
Excellent, dude.
My brother Paulie and I are sitting here on Dale Mabry getting ready to go to the game, have an extra ticket. Want to come pick you up and take you in with us.
Oh, geez, I'd love to, but I know that my lovely wife has actually gone out and bought popcorn and is planning on making popcorn for me as I watch the game. You think I'm joking?
No, I don't think you're joking.
No, it's become a tradition at my house. She makes hot buttered popcorn for me to watch the game because it's the only time during the entire week I'm usually in a good mood.
Let me ask you this. If I could guarantee you a win tonight, would you go with us?
Oh, darn, he must be in a... Yeah, oh, God, that's a bad cell he's in. Darn it, I was going to accept his kind invitation, too. Jerry in Tampa. Jerry, you're on the air 970 WFLA.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing excellent, Jerry.
I've been following you around on the dial from 970 down to 620 back to 970. I really enjoy your program.
Well, you forgot to start at 570 up to 970 down to 620 up to 970.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
But,
you were probably just a kid in diapers when I was on 570.
Yeah.
Everybody now says they were a kid in diapers when I was on that station.
And I remember you at 89 WLS in Chicago.
Oh, that's true.
Back in the 80s.
Well, that was 89 to 91, yeah.
Yeah, that's when I used to live in Michigan. I used to get WLS. But you can get it down here sometimes at night, but...
In the winter, yeah.
Not much, but...
That's good. There's not much on it anymore, so...
Huh?
I said, that's okay. There's not much on it anymore.
I know. I was going to ask you a question.
Yeah?
About music.
Music, yeah.
That doo-wop music they play. It'd be nice to have a station like that down here. That new oldie station at 9:10 a.m.
Yeah.
They're a joke because they'd be playing the same songs over and over every 2 hours.
Well, you know, records are expensive, guy.
But it'd be nice.
But do you think we run radio stations for the benefit of the audience? Hell no, we just run a radio station waiting for another sucker to come in and pay us more money to buy it from us. That's the only reason that radio exists. You're laughing. You think I'm kidding you.
No, you're serious.
I know I am.
I believe you.
Many, many years ago, I was just a whippersnapper myself, people actually ran radio stations with the audience in mind. Now they only run them with Wall Street in mind.
Yeah, that's too bad. That's a shame. Do you ever think that AM will go digital signal sometime down the road?
I can't conceive as to why it would.
AM stereo never made it. I wish I would have, but...
No, I can't conceive as to why the current group of ownership would spend any money at all. And then, of course, it would depend on everybody in the country getting a new radio, too, and it's not going to happen.
But are you really serious about the donating of the Christmas trees?
Yes! Yes, they wanted me to ask for donations of Christmas decorations.
That's pretty bad, isn't it?
They just sold this place for $2 billion, and they want free Christmas decorations on top of it. You see, that's the kind of business it is now. And by the way, as far as your digital AM, absolutely forget it, because the next wave is, in essence, satellite radio.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So there'll only have to be one disc jockey for the entire country.
Oh, that'll happen, you think?
It's on its way. It is happening. That way you only need one disc jockey, and that's it. Playing the same damn record to everybody in the entire country at the same time. So that no matter where you are, you can hear the same commercial, the same record, the same time check. You'll no longer be told, like right now it's, it's 7:44. You'll no longer hear that. You'll hear things like It's 44 minutes after the hour.
You sound real good. You should be
disc jockey, yeah. 990 WFLA in Hillsboro, 461. What was that? 461 WFLA. Oh, bad cell again. 461 WFLA in the other county. And, of course, that GTE wireless thing.
The number is pound 970.
So I have to assume that since we have not heard anything from our colleagues out at the WFLA tailgate party across from Charles Schwab Stadium. So there's something, oh man. I mean, I can even get pissed off at home and talk for a half an hour. I appreciate that the county commissioners and the city of Tampa sold out to the team and granting the team the right to find some moronic corporation to give them gazillions and gazillions of dollars in order to call my stadium by another name. And in this particular case, it was a local brokerage firm. But I never received a penny from the local brokerage firm. As a matter of fact, I'm paying for the frickin' stadium. I never got a penny from them. The newspaper never got a penny from them. The radio station doesn't get any money from them. And why in God's name we call that stadium by the name that the brokerage company and Malcolm Glazier made a deal with is beyond me. Every time I hear on our newscasts, a big game tonight at Charles Schwab Stadium, we're under no obligation whatsoever. It is pure ass kissing. Bend over some more, Mr. Glazier. Pure ass kissing. Nothing more, nothing less. Charles Schwab Stadium. Great stadium. Beautiful place over there. Greg in Clearwater. Greg, you're on the air, 970 WFLA.
Hello, Robert.
Hi.
How you doing?
Excellent.
Good. Number one, the name of the stadium, I'm here in Pinellas. The company is known as one of the local cat houses. There's a lot of things go on. But I do want to tell you something about the Glaziers and their money. I'm handicapped, and I went to go over to the Billy Graham thing on Thursday night, and I listened to you on the way over, and it was a riot. And we paid $6 to park. When we got in, we couldn't get a seat. We wound up coming back out, and we left.
I don't blame you. I should have never gone.
And it was just a thing, it was my choice. But then my wife, she says, on the way home, she goes, I wonder how much Malcolm got out of our $6.
All of it.
He got all of it.
Yeah, every penny of it. Yeah, they also gave him the public grounds that surround the stadium for his exclusive use, 365 days a year, for which he pays virtually nothing.
Jeez.
And anytime there's any event, makes no difference. Malcolm, gets the money.
Okay, Bobby. Well, I'm with you.
Okay.
And go Packers.
Okay.
Okay.
Go Pack. Back to pack. I'm not clear on this 49 thing. Am I, free to leave after that, or do I still have to stick around, or what?
No, you still stick around. Jeez.
Well, I don't know.
11-minute break.
Well, we don't go to, we bail at 56:56, remember?
Yes.
Well, I don't know how long
We'll
the
be
break
back
is.
Before then.
Well, that's why I was checking to see if I could leave or if I was supposed to stay. I wasn't complaining, I just didn't know.
Okay, no, we're going to break, and then we'll be back.
Begging for Christmas decorations, probably.
Yeah.
Marvin was coming into the building, and there was a car out in the parking lot, and a man approached him with a bag of Christmas tree ornaments, Christmas balls. A lovely bag, some choice, better than just the usual colored ones with, schmutz on them and stuff. And so already we have from the audience some donations of Christmas gifts or decorations. However, I don't wish to look a gift bag in the mouth, but I think she was expecting the tree, too, along with some lights and some tinsel and garland and things of that nature. some other kinds of ornaments. And I think she was basically expecting it not, piecemeal from listeners. I think what she was really hoping for was that some, designer or decorator or something like would come in and do about a $3,000 layout here in the studio. But in case we don't get that, we will keep the Christmas balls as, an alternative. Or maybe we could even add to the designer tree that she is hoping for. We're looking for something in the neighborhood of $5,000 to $6,000 worth of decorations. And, of course, from a designer, that means about a 2.5-foot tall tree with 3 balls and 4 strands of tinsel on it. But we have already started to receive Christmas decorations donated from... What? What do you keep pointing at?
I just wanted to, remind that we did receive our Christmas card, our first Christmas card also.
Well, we got that about a week and a half ago.
Which is beautiful.
And we haven't gotten any other cards since then.
Looks nice there, though.
So remember, if you're a decorator designer and you would like to come in and decorate our studio, we will actually say that we like it, even if we don't. We'll say that 9 times. 3 times each for 3 days. And that's what this business, this station, and this broadcaster have degenerated to. I am also sure that they would be very grateful if there is someone out there with a lot of money who would like to cover the payroll next week. It's not that we don't have the money or anything like that, but if we get somebody else to pay it, I'm sure that we would like to do that. It was isolated. It was run by nuns and brothers. The camp was sponsored by a church in New York City. I'm not sure which borough. And almost all of the kids at the camp were these streetwise, tough, mean New York kids. And me, a little suburban Philadelphia wimp. On the 2nd or 3rd day of the camp, I broke my ankle, which meant I spent almost the entire summer in a cast, walking around on crutches. It was awful, just absolutely awful. But there was one interesting thing that happened every 2 weeks. The camp was basically on a 2-week cycle. So every 2 weeks we had a trip to the Indian village. The Indian village was nothing more than a group of tents off to the side of the swimming pool on platforms, but we ate our meals outside and things like that and roughed it for a full 24 hours. And one of the things that we did in roughing it is there was this delightful mountain spring just off, again, the side of the camp. And it had the sweetest, best water you have ever tasted in your entire life. And since we were Indians, we had, if we wanted a drink, we had to go down to the spring, get down on our hands and knees, and just kind of sip from the spring. And it was delightful. Delightful. It was cool, refreshing, sweet, and out of the ordinary. Well, as the summer went on, some of the older boys realized that there was a bend in the creek or the stream, call it what you will, just above where everybody went down to drink. And so when people would go down to drink, they would go up above the bend and, shall I say, relieve themselves. By the 3rd trip to the Indian village, I had caught on and joined them. I wish I had stories about meeting strangers in the post office and things of that nature. I don't. Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! Why do I always opt for home delivery? Let's go to Tracy on a payphone. Hi, Tracy. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hello, Bob.
Hi, Tracy.
Well, I was naughty twice in my life.
Naughty. Oh, goody, goody, goody.
Yeah. Well, the first one happened in 95, and it was with my best friend and my husband.
Oh, no.
That's why. And the second one happened about a year and a half later with two male coworkers of mine that were also real good friends.
I can imagine. Didn't bring hubby along this time, huh?
Well, we got the warm and fuzzies one night and just decided to try it, and we did. And we're all still friends, all of us, and none of us have ever spilled the beans to each other. My husband doesn't know about the incident with the two guys.
Yeah.
And the two guys don't know about the incident with the girlfriend. Well, we're all friends.
Which do you prefer, one girl, two guys, two girls, one guy?
I still have never been able to decide which I prefer, and I don't think I'd ever do it again.
Why not?
Just one of those things that you might want to try once in your life.
Yeah.
But not really interested in doing it again. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, considering the way I was raised, you would not imagine I'd do something like that.
Well, how did this thing with your husband and the friend? How did that happen?
Well,
was that something that was planned?
No, it just a spur of the moment thing. We were all just hanging around the house, just drinking, and she decided to stay the night because she'd had a little bit more to drink.
Yeah. And
none of us were drunk, just feeling good. And she mentioned it to me, and she and I kind of got busy, and he wanted to join in, and we said, yeah.
All right. Jeffy's he's giving high fives in the other room to himself.
Yeah, the amazing thing is that we're all still friends and still hang out and everything.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It was harmless, but I feel better for spilling the beans.
And now you know, and now everybody knows.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Tracy.
Well, thank you, Bob. You have a great show.
Thank you. Who would have thought of the debauchery just bubbling under the surface in this audience? Well, let's quickly take a break so we can get back to it. Brian on his cell phone. Brian, you're on air 970 WFLA. Hello, Brian. Brian once, Brian twice, Brian crapped out. Henry in Bradenton. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Hey, without a doubt, the best show you have ever had.
Yes, indeed.
No doubt about it.
No doubt about it.
You ought to make it like...
And we came out of the box strong, so to speak.
Pardon?
We came out of the box strong, so to speak.
Hey, listen to this one here. Years ago, working a steel plant, crane operator.
Yeah.
This old obnoxious hillbilly, he was not only obnoxious, he was insulting. So I thought if I ever get a chance to get in with this joker, I'm going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make a long story short. We was working on third shift. I snuck up in the crane before he got there. Unbeknownst to him, on the way to work, I bought a box of Chiclets. Remember Chiclets, the chewing gum?
Oh, sure. I think they still make them.
Okay. And I bought a box of Phenoments, a laxative.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I poured the Chiclets out and filled it up with the...
Oh, that's what they look like, Chiclets.
Yeah, I poured the Chiclets out, and I put the Phenomant in there, snuck up in there, and put the box of chewing gum, he thought, in the crane cab. He comes to work. He gets up in the cab. I said, hey, Hargis. I said, that's a name for you. Hey, Hargis. I said, buddy, I said, left some chewing gum up in there. I said, you can have it if you want it. He ate the whole box. Oh, no. About 4 hours into the shift, I could see him. He kept taking the crane to the ladder and going to the bathroom about a half a dozen times.
Yeah, about 4 hours into the shift, he got the F out, huh? Yeah.
Hey, so the next night I said, Hargis, how do you feel? I don't feel too good. He said, I got a touch of the flu. He said, on the way home last night, I had to stop twice and go to the bathroom.
Oh, poor Hargis.
Yeah, he got what he deserved.
Oh, good story, Henry.
Let me get off here.
Oh, okay.
Bye.
I guess Henry heard some of the earlier callers. 990 WFLA in Hillsborough. Oh, God, I sometimes don't believe how... 990 WFLA in Hillsborough, 461, confess you swine, 461 WFLA in Pinellas. Doug in Tampa. Doug, you're on the air 970 WFLA.
Hey, Bob, I got a good one. I didn't do it, but it was played against us.
Oh, okay.
What it was, one day we come to work, and there was all these free donuts. You know, you go to work, and there's donuts sitting there?
Yeah.
So the guys all eat all the donuts. We're having a blast. So,
oh, you work here, too?
Yeah, 2 hours later, the guys come back from work for the next break, and they see all these Polaroid pictures sitting on a lunchroom table. Here, all the donuts are sitting on the toilet seats.
Oh, no. Oh.
We never did find out who did that.
Okay, well, didn't have it to the post office, that's for sure. See, they do that around here. They get donuts usually on Friday, and they just scoff them up. And, rather than do the decent thing, and that would be, of course, to put them in the trash and, cover them with newspapers or something so other people who come in later couldn't see them. They leave the empty boxes, usually with the lids closed, sitting all around the station. So you come in here on Friday and you just wander from place to place. Oh, boy, there's a box of donuts. And you open up the box and it's empty, or it has one stick stale cruller that's about 3/4 eaten. And you can tell that there were chocolate donuts in there from the chocolate icing, too. Let's go to Tony in Tampa. Hi, Tony. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
How you doing, Bob?
I'm doing great, Tony.
I got one for you.
Okay.
When I was in my high school years, I had a mechanic teacher really give me a hard time. And I was trying to figure out how to get this guy back. It was in the late 70s. Well, he had this old cup that he had in World War II, I guess, on aircraft carriers as a mechanic, and he always drank with it every day.
Yeah.
This is when they first came out with super glue. So they called him to the office one day, and he had a cup of hot coffee, and I had glued it to the table and set it just like it was on the edge. He came in there, and it just had to be perfect time. And he came in there and grabbed the cup. It jerked him off his feet. I laughed so hard I almost fell out of the chair.
It's cool.
Luckily, the bell rang at that time, and everybody dispersed. Well, the next morning when I came into the next teacher, I had air conditioning. He came in there with that cup, and you could see where he had shifted it off the table. He was probably there a freaking hour. I hated that guy. I like you, man.
Thank you, Guy. Good story. In case you're wondering what's going on this evening, at the top of the hour, we challenged and threatened the audience. We challenged them to divulge their deepest, darkest, nastiest, confessable things that they've done in their lives. And then, oh, great. Getting weird messages on the computer screen here. And then we threatened them that if they didn't do that, we had a fallback plan. And we told them honestly that the fallback plan was horrible, that they would regret it for the rest of their lives. If they did not fess up, if they did not confess, you swine, then we would have to go to the fallback because we weren't going to milk it. We weren't going to beg and plead and things of that nature. It would either just happen naturally or we would go to the fallback plan, and we have yet to tell people what the fallback plan is. Jeffy knows. But I'm telling you, it ain't pretty. 990 and you will really regret it. 990 WFLA in Hillsborough. Because everybody that, only has 4 or 5 of their original teeth and lives in a double wide in Hudson won't be able to resist. 990 WFLA in Hillsborough. The people that normally call the station. 990 WFLA in Hillsborough. 461 WFLA in Pinellas. And now.
Hello?
Hi, Becky.
Oh, hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Yourself?
Good. I have a story that I think you would really enjoy.
Oh, we're hoping so. We're hoping, Becky.
I have, I've actually always wanted to tell this one to another DJ.
Okay.
Because it involved one.
Uh-huh.
At a major radio station here.
Major radio station, yeah.
One that plays short songs, unfortunately.
Uh-huh.
Now, the day after I broke up with a boyfriend of about 2 years, I had called this friend of mine who I had actually met on the air over the radio.
Yeah.
Calling him, and, we struck up a conversation. And we'd been talking over a few months, and he did overnight at this radio station. And so I told him that I'd just broken up and, felt like doing something kind of wily.
Overnights never pays good, but the benefits are usually quite interesting, yeah.
Oh, yes. So he was like, well, why don't you come on over? So I did, like in the middle of the night. It was about midnight. Threw on a little dress, went over, and then spoke into the mic while on the air.
Right into the mic, live on the air.
Well, not the one.
I know.
And unfortunately, we proceeded to do other things, but the songs were so short, and that little damn light kept coming on.
Oh, damn. Well, nobody's listening in the middle of the night, especially management. What kind of a jerk was this? Didn't he ever hear about segwaying, or Inagata DeVita?
Well,
Alice's Restaurant?
Yeah, well, I had already had him play, and I was kicking myself for this one, because earlier in the night I already had him play American Pie.
Well, yeah,
and
6
so
minutes, right, yeah.
The only thing left was Hey Jude.
And they didn't have a copy of Alice's Restaurant. What kind of a crappy radio station?
It was a pretty crappy radio station.
Always have to have a copy of Alice's Restaurant. There are all kinds of reasons why you need 17 minutes to pop up, so to speak, sometimes.
But in all of those, where's the best place you've ever done it?
Yeah.
A little contest?
Yeah.
I always win.
Did you ever do it a second time?
Not there, no.
Oh, not there. I love it. I love it.
So I thought you would enjoy that one.
Yes, I do, Becky. You be good.
I'll try.
Okay. Becky was bringing back memories of my earlier days. This is a terrible one. I never did it at the station, but there were a number of young ladies that called and made arrangements. And there was this one that just sounded fantastic, and I talked to her a number of times, and it was becoming painfully aware as to where the situation was headed. And she had casually mentioned during one of the conversations how much she enjoyed whipped cream. And so eventually the time came to get together, so to speak. And I gave her my address. We were going to get together at my house, and I remember on the way home that evening, I stopped at the grocery store and got a large can of Ready Whip, and I brought it home, and I put it into the refrigerator, and there was a knock at the door. Yes. yes. And I went to the door, and I opened it up. I opened the door. I'll have to finish this after the news. Tom, you're on there at 970 WFLA.
Hi, Bob. How you doing?
Excellent.
Bob, I got a confession from back in the 70s.
Oh, good.
I worked on an assembly line while I was going through school back in Detroit, and I won't say which car company it is.
Okay.
But I worked when the chassis was starting to come down the assembly line, and myself and a couple buddies, we only did this a couple of times all summer, but we took a Coke bottle and placed it in a place in the chassis where nobody really could see it. And once the chassis was sealed, welded, the Coke bottle would be there for life. And so we always, imagine some poor son of a gun buying this car, taking it home, taking his wife out for a ride, and he could hear this rattling and rolling underneath them. And, if you've ever had a car where noise that you can't, and you take it back in the dealership, looks at you like, you're crazy, they don't hear it.
Right, of course. Well, what they do is they park the car out back, call you in 6 hours, and tell you to come get it. Right, they don't even look.
There's absolutely no way they can get this Coke bottle unless they just take it and rip the car apart and literally just dismember it. So we did that 2 or 3 times. And another story, I never did this, but along where the engines are starting to be assembled, we'd take a small little nut or washer, drop it down into the cylinder.
Jesus.
And so it would get down the assembly line.
Oh, Tom, you're so bad.
When they go to fire the engine up, it just would blow the head apart.
Oh, you're bad, Tom.
But I always thought the Coke bottle was funny because, you could always picture some guy, his wife is like, what is that sound? I can't explain it. And it would just probably drive somebody crazy. I mean, noises in your car can drive you nuts anyways.
Oh, I know, man. I think, especially a relatively new vehicle.
But this is back in the 70s, so, and they were in the big car era, so, whenever you did hit your brakes, the bottle would roll almost the length of the chassis. And there was literally nothing they could do.
Well, thank you, Tom.
Okay. Look out for that rattle in your car, Bob.
Well, yeah, I will. See, we were going to build a house 5 years ago. And in talking with contractors and all that kind of, they literally talked us out of it. They weren't trying to, but in telling us the kinds of things that, this is a somewhat related story, and telling us the kinds of things, the 5,000 decisions, this, that, and the other thing, and, don't piss off the workers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then they told us all kinds of horror stories about things that, they might kind of seal up in your walls, then 4 or 5 weeks after you take delivery, the house, you'd have unpleasant aroma, that kind of stuff. And the stories really sank in with us. And as you know, I had a little accident in my house about a month ago, letting the washing machine overflow and trashing the garage. Well, anyhow, We contacted a contractor, and everything's fine and cool. Really happy with them. Really comfortable with them. It's just one itsy bitsy teeny weeny little problem. They said they could start in 7 to 10 days, and it was now like about 3.5 weeks later. And we are terrified to complain, absolutely terrified to complain because of all those stories about, people putting not Coke bottles, but other things inside your house that you'd have to rip a wall out to get to. And then, of course, you'd have to try to figure out just exactly where in the wall it was, and so forth and so on. Just reminded me of that. I'm sorry, Jeffy, who's on line 5? We're having computer problems.
That's Sam.
Sam, okay.
Sam on 5.
Hi, Sam. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Hey, excellent, Bob.
Hey, excellent, Sam.
All right, well, I've had
Confess, you swine. Confess.
I've had a general life of debauchery here.
Oh, great.
And, my real confessions, of course, I can't say on the radio.
Sure you can, Sam.
No.
Oh, sure you can. Nobody knows who you are.
The worst of the worst.
I mean, come on. We've had a mother who confessed to, getting it on with her son's best friend.
Nah, that ain't nothing. That ain't nothing compared to my worst, but...
Well, but you'll have to prove it, Sam.
Well, all right. Well, I'll give you some context. I had the general experiences, like I was a cook for a while, and I would spit in people's food I didn't like, and I used to, I'd go to bars and steal the 8-ball. I
never heard of that
for a while. I used to pee in the change slot of all the public phones in Manhattan. But this is all minor stuff.
You must be a very tall dude.
Somewhat, yeah.
Okay.
We're going to Terry on line number 7.
Okay, Terry, you're on the air 970 WFLA.
Bobby.
Hi, Terry.
After 10 years, you have finally inspired me to pick up the phone and call you.
Okay, confess, you swine.
You probably know that musicians are pigs.
Oh, of course.
Okay. Many years ago, packing up from a gig in Pennsylvania.
One of the reasons I'm so disappointed I can't play, an instrument.
Well, that doesn't stop some of us. Packing up from a gig in a hotel in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I noticed there's one of the guest room doors. It's ajar. It wasn't locked. It wasn't closed. I pushed it open a little bit, and there's people in there sleeping, and it smells like a brewery, so it's obviously a couple of drunks asleep. And I can see on the dresser there's a camera. And I thought, hey, I could use a camera. So I tiptoe in there, grab the camera, bring it out. I said, oh, man, it's one of these little cheapo Instamatics. I don't want this piece of crap. So my buddy and I, we walk down the hallway to a little alcove. Go in there. I proceed to drop my pants, give him the camera. He takes a picture of my big brown eye and all the surrounding area. We tiptoe back in and leave the camera back in the
It's too bad it didn't have a timer on it. You and your buddy could have simulated something, with the two of you together, and that would have been even more disturbing.
I bet you've got a lot more stories that you haven't told us.
No, after all these years, I've told just about everything that's ever happened in my life.
All right, thanks.
Okay.
See ya.
Of course, I did leave you hanging with the knock at the door and the can of Ready Whip in the refrigerator. So I opened the door. And we're talking tons of fun, dude. I mean, we are talking at least 250 pounds of woman. At least. And here, this is at my apartment. I had given this woman my address. I had no other choice. I had to let her in. And we knew why she was there. So I basically pushed her into the bedroom, got the Ready Whip, took, perhaps a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and told her that I was tired, and then basically pushed her out the door. I was so affected by that little faux pas. I haven't even given my wife my address. She doesn't even know where I live. Roger in Lakeland. Hi, Roger. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Roger.
I've got a story that's kind of like a payback story.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Payback stories are good stories.
Many years ago, I was engaged to this girl, and shortly thereafter, I went to Vietnam. And while I was there, about 8 months into my tour there, she wrote me a letter, a Dear John letter with my ring in it. So,
well, at least got the ring back, yeah.
Yeah, at least I got the ring back. Anyway, what I did was I extended my tour over there 6 months so I could get this 30 days free leave anywhere in the world I wanted to go.
Yeah.
And I had a stipulation in there that I stopped in Okinawa on the way back.
Uh-huh.
So I spent about a week in Okinawa going to every whorehouse I could find. Went home, called her up, acted like nothing was wrong, took her out for drinks and fun, and we spent the next week hopping it like a rabbit every time we could get a hold of it. And I made sure she had what I wanted to give her. And then I called the health department, turned her in for giving it to me. So, of course, back then, the health department had to find out all her lovers that she's had in the past month. And it was quite a list. And the best part of it was, she was from the richest family in town, and they all thought she was a goody two-shoes.
Oh, I love it. That's a good one, Guy. That's a good one.
And then when I got back to Vietnam, I wrote her a little note that, that's what you get, bitch.
Oh, I'm glad you let her know.
Oh,
that makes it even better.
Oh, I wanted to let her know that I was the one that did it.
Did you ever see her again?
No.
Oh, that's too bad. I think you should look her up again.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, send her a Christmas card at least.
I don't even know where she's living now.
I'd pop a few bucks with a private detective to find out. Better still send a Christmas card to her husband.
Yeah, that would be great, too.
Yes. Okay. Well, thanks, dude.
You're welcome.
Oh, hi, Gary. You're on the air at 970. I'm doing great.
I
haven't had this much fun in a long time.
I have a great destruction of a yuppie story from the early 80s in college.
Oh, great.
We're all living as freshmen on a dorm. We're all poor. We're all working part-time jobs to pay through school. And there's always one idiot who has everything.
School. Don't give me that crap. It was beer and pizza money.
Well, everybody trying to get by, and you have one idiot who has everything handed to him on a platter.
Right.
Well, we come back from Christmas break, our freshman year, and an idiot shows up with a brand new Cadillac given to him by Daddy. And I used to work in a kitchen, and this guy used to shove this Cadillac in everybody's face for about the first month coming back. And back in the old days, you could get access to the hood of a car from the front instead of having to go through the inside of the car.
Right.
And I love rice, and you know what's funny? You take about 5 pounds of white, slow-cooked, long-grain rice, and you fill that radiator up, and you put that cap back on, and you put that lid down, and you figure it takes about 15 minutes for the water to cook and plump. I can't walk down a grocery aisle without smiling every time I look at Uncle Ben's face, Bob. It's a beautiful thing. Rice is a beautiful, beautiful food. You have a good evening.
Thanks, Guy. Well, let's go to Karen in Clearwater. Hi, Karen. You're on there at 970 WFLA.
Yeah, hi, Bob.
Hi, Karen.
Well, this is pretty boring by comparison with some of your other stories, but
yeah, sure. That's what Mom started out with.
But morally, it's pretty low.
Oh, good.
Okay. I noticed you haven't had too many women calling, by the way.
Well, the first hour and a half, it was almost all women.
Oh, really? I only been listening to
That's when we had all the sex stories.
Oh, yeah, I heard those. No, this is just, well, I was going out with this guy, and I wasn't really into him, you know. But he was a really nice man, and I was pretty broke, you know, and he was showing me this antique engagement ring that had been his dead mother's.
Oh, no, yes.
So I started thinking, wonder how much I could get for that. So, you know, sure enough, little time goes by, I mulled it over in my head for a while, and, well, I took it and I sold it to a pawn shop for $100.
Oh, God.
No, that was about 20 years ago, and I haven't stopped thinking of it yet. I don't know.
Oh, Karen, that's terrible.
Oh, well.
It's probably worth a hell of a lot more, too. You probably should have held out. You might have gotten $250.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, jeez. Did you ever tell him that, that you sold it to the pawn shop?
I never told anybody.
Oh,
oh my God. I have a problem telling God about it.
Oh. Well, thank you, Karen.
Good night, Bob.
Good night, Karen. Oh, Jesus. Let's go to Jason in Palmetto. Jason, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hey, have you had your second lobotomy yet?
Yeah, I had it yesterday. Let's go to Glenn on his cell phone. Glenn, you're on air 970 WFLA.
How you doing, Bob?
Excellent, Glenn.
Hey, man. First off, I just want to say, if you ever want to get out of the talk spot, we could really use a good blues DJ around here, and you guys have the best lead-in music around.
Yes, we
I'd rather
do.
listen to you just for the 2 minutes of damn good music versus an FM station.
Oh, well, that's sweet, dude.
Thanks, man.
Actually, Jeffy picks most of the music now, so and has been since we left the show.
Good pair. I just had a real quick. I'm a CPA. I'm an auditor.
Yeah.
And this goes back a couple of years when I was auditing banks. I'm driving down 19 one morning, and I get in the whole road rage with this guy next to me in this big Lincoln Town car. I mean, he's just giving it up to me for about 5 miles.
And this, of course, is probably before they widened 19.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was, actually. And, I mean, it was just... He was just going off, I mean, veins. What can I look, what do you need to look at first? Normally, it's something I don't even look at. I just looked at him, I said, let's start with personal expense accounts. Why don't you pull your receipt? Just to watch him sweat. Oh, man, he was the nicest guy from that day on. What's on his face after he thought it? He gave it to me out on the road, and then I walk into his office. Hi, I'm your auditor.
You know, I've heard a lot of stories that were, purporting to prove the existence of God. And I think that one does. That story, that proves the existence of God, because that's the only way that could happen. Hey, good story.
Great.
Thank you, Guy.
Thank you. All right, you take it easy. Keep up the good music, too.
We'll do our best. Let's go to Tampa. Hi, Tampa. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Bob, God does exist. You would have loved this one.
Okay.
I was in freshman chemistry class.
Yeah.
Had a real nice-looking girl as a partner. This big, dumb jerk from Long Island made me look like a total fool in front of this girl and the teacher. Couldn't do a thing about it. And I hated this guy's guts from that day on. Never saw him again for 2 years.
Well, wait a second. What did he do to make you look like a fool?
He just said something that put me down. I can't even remember what he said. It was one of those things, put me down in front of the girl and the female teacher. And, and I couldn't walk up there and punch him and get thrown out of school, That was my standard reply back then. But anyway, so 2 years later, now I was kind of a geek, but I was like, I was pretty good in some courses. And I had this marketing class that I had down to a T. I knew everything at 100-question multiple choice test. I walk into this marketing class, and they combined about 15 different sections into one big hall to take the same test.
Uh-huh.
And who do I see but this prick from Long Island and a buddy of his sitting next to each other, and I saw where they had positioned themselves at an angle behind this girl, who I also happened to know just roughly. I knew she was real sharp, too, and I could tell they were going to cheat off. Okay? And I figured the guy kind of remembered me, too, just roughly. So I sat at an angle just in front of him, just a little bit to the left, so he could see everything I did. I very carefully held my paper up like a jerk so he could read everything off. I filled out every answer on that question wrong to the best of my abilities out of 100. I waited. It got real quiet behind me before they were whispering everything, real quiet. And I could tell they were writing as fast as they could, and I conveniently flipped the page, when I thought they about it. They walked the test down, and as soon as they handed it in, I quickly erased everything, filled in the right answers, and I got a 99 on that test.
All right. All
I never
right.
saw him again. I didn't even know his name, but I wish to God I could have seen his test results.
All right. Oh, good story, Guy.
Good night, Bob.
Good night. All right, all right, all right.
That's it?
Well, just about. And that is that my best shows are your best shows. That I am powerless to do anything if you guys don't cooperate. I was sitting there, it was about, it was 2:45 this afternoon. And I kept saying to myself, you don't have a show. You don't have a show today. And this has been going on for about 4 hours. And so, like, now it's 3 o'clock, and I'm saying to myself, I have to leave in a half an hour. I don't have a show. I don't have a show. And suddenly, about 3:15, confess, you swine, popped into my head. And I said, this is dangerous. I did this once about 5 years ago at SUN, and it was a dynamite show, just an absolutely dynamite show. I tried it once here, and it was a disaster. I mean, people would call up and say things like, when I was 9 years old, I thought about stealing some chewing gum, but I didn't. And that was, the really exciting call. And I said, well, you're really between a rock and a hard place, dude. You got no other choice because you ain't got no show. And so I came in here and I said at the top of the hour, at 5 o'clock, that I was taking my life into my hands, and I was. And we proved another thing, and that is that the first call frequently sets the tone for the rest of the show, and the first call was dynamite, just absolutely dynamite. But nonetheless, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I had a good time tonight. I really had a good time. Enjoyed the hell out of myself. A little scary sometimes, drop down to 1-2 calls at a time, but I suppose it's only fair to tell you what the fallback was. If this didn't work, I was simply going to say, Bill Clinton, should we impeach him or not? And sit back and let the toothless crowd from Hudson take over. That's how I was going to punish you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.